man that is, in fact, he stops. When you talk about project management, he's there. When you talk about logistic management, he's there. When you talk about supply chain management, he's there. He's a man that has been doing it for many, many years. He has a proven track record. In fact, we are still looking for someone that supersedes him. We have not seen. That is why we still say that he's our top facilitator. I want to introduce to us is none other than Mr. Friday Gabriel Udo. Mr. Friday Gabriel Udo, good morning, sir. You are welcome, sir.
A pleasant morning to you, sir. Thank you for having me, and thank you to everyone
I say, is it up to date? Are they
that have taken up time to be here. Indeed, this is a project that you have embarked on already. And as it is the course for this, the next few weeks, project management professionals. Okay, so once again, thank you so very much for having me, and to MJB, I say thank you so much. All
You're
right,
welcome, sir.
so thank you. Now the class is going to take us to about 1 to 2 p.m. depending on how cooperative we are in respect to making the class interactive, lively, and what have you. All right. So every game, there are rules and regulations to make it worth watching. If Manchester United and Chelsea happen to play, and you see the fans running into the pitch, invading into the pitch, it makes everywhere look so untidy, so unorganized. The same thing here. We want to adopt that principle of serenity. Let everyone try as much as possible to mute your mic. It's very important. Please mute your mic. When you're allowed to speak, you'll be beckoned on. Please, this is to ensure that we have an itch-free, stress-free, you know, void of interruptions, void of any other encumbrances that will make the class very unkept. So please bear with me. I might, it might be somehow demanding, but I think that's something that we can do. Secondly, in every of my class, I don't like talking to myself alone. I believe I am here with professionals from all, fields of endeavor. Some have been in project team for the past 15, 20 years, 10 years. Some are just getting to start to know what project management is all about. It doesn't really matter where you're coming from. What matters is your contribution. When you contribute, whether you're wrong or you're right, it shows you're following and it shows your enthusiasm in learning. But when you keep mute and I talk to myself for 1 hour, 2 hours, I'll feel favor, do us that favor so we can share ideas. We are here to learn, unlearn, and relearn. Please. Put things in place. Network these days is not guaranteed. So if you're not hearing me, if it's cracking, just wave or go to the comment section and place it there so we can rectify whatever error we are encountering. Thank you so very much. I believe with this, you know, just three rules, we'll be able to have a very productive, very interesting day. All right. So we are moving swiftly to project management professional course. And to start, We all are project managers, consciously or unconsciously. And somebody will say, no, I am not a project manager because I'm not in construction line. I'm not a project manager. I've never lifted a block before. I'm not a project manager because I've never been to the site before. I'm not a project manager because I've not worn the PPEs before. I'm not a project manager because of this, because of this. You are absolutely wrong. You are absolutely wrong. Here it is. MJB advertised their service or their product to embark on an 8-week long project management course for those that are, enthusiastic about learning, upgrading themselves, and all of that. You stumbled on the advert. All of a sudden, you picked interest in it. You started counting your costs. You started planning. The amount is actually 200,000 naira for early birds. How am I going to raise this money? 200,000 in this economy? How? Am I sure I'm going to conclude this program? What if I pay part payment of 20,000 and I'm not able to balance off the 180,000? What becomes my faith? What if I register with 20,000, I partake in the first class, the second class, all of a sudden there's a policy that says if you've not paid up to half, you'll not be allowed to continue. What will I do? Okay, there's this friend of mine that I can, speak with to lend me maybe 100,000 naira. Will he be willing to help me out? What if he says he doesn't have? What still will I do? What if I approach MJB management and explain my predicament to them and they still, oh, this is the policy of the management, we cannot bend? What will I do? All of this I'm taking us somewhere to tell you how project emanates from. Okay, what if I give them the 200,000? All of a sudden, their phone numbers is not reachable anymore. The admins are not responding anymore. My 200,000 naira will just go into voicemail, as they will say. That is what risks. Okay, how do I get comprehensive information about this program to really tell me exactly that it's actually authentic? Communication management. Okay, who are the people within MJB that I can reach out to? Okay, if I have any issues, I can explain myself to. Stakeholders management. Who are the people that are going to facilitate this program to ensure that they give us the best? Human resources management. We are going somewhere. So at the end of the day, with your effective planning and analysis, with your initiation to say, okay, this project management is going to be useful to me in my career. Whatever is going to take, I will plan assiduously to ensure that I partake in this training. That is what effective planning. You have been able to count your cost. You have been able to analyze the risks involved in it. You have been able to analyze other factors that will help you to actualize this goal. And do not forget, the objective of the project is to ensure that at the end of the day, the result is given to you, which is what your certificate. At the end, you have been able to undergo the project management levels. So you don't need to be a site engineer. You don't need to be an architect. You don't need to be a construction engineer or whatever. Project management is done on a daily basis. Like I said, consciously or unconsciously. You woke up this morning or from Monday, you started setting your priorities right. What will I do on Monday? What activities do I have on Monday, on Tuesday, on Wednesday? What resources do I have at my disposal to ensure that these activities that I'm planning for is actually actualized? That is effective planning. That is judicious spending of resources. What if at the end of the day, the activities are not met due to non-availability of resources? You embark on what? On risk management. Who are the people that I'm going to do business with, transact one form of business or another with? You are talking about human resources management, procurement management. How am I going to bring these goods and services, the business, to ensuring that it is user-friendly? We acclimatize to what we are talking about. That is what integration in project management. Of what use will this product or services be to me and the people that are looking up to me? How will it fit the purpose and the goals of the organization? Now you are tilting towards quality management. That is exactly what project is in your organization, in your home, in your religious setting. Project management is what we do every day, every day, every day. As a woman, you have 10,000 naira to cook jollof rice. That is resources. How am I going to cook so that I can have meat, I can have fish, I can make it more delicious than it using all the veggies? You are planning. Your planning helps you to effectively utilize the scarce resources at your disposal. The ultimate goal of that project is what is the result. Once they test of it and they see, your product is okay, the outcome of the cooking is palatable, you have gotten what? The end result. Therefore, I welcome you to project management professional course. Having said that, we want to look at the 5 process group in project management. Every project that is being embarked on must ensure that this 5 process group is taken into consideration, without which you cannot have a successful project. What are they? We talk about initiating, we talk about planning, executing, controlling, and the last but not the least, closing. Who can give me an explanation, a brief explanation to what he or she understands by initiating, by controlling, planning, executing, and closing? Who has an idea? Anybody in the house? Anybody, please? Let's be very active. Let's be responsive. Anybody?
Can I say something?
Yes, please go ahead. The floor is yours, sir. Introduce yourself, your name, please.
My name is Ojo Ibunowo.
All right, sir.
Currently construction site.
Okay.
The initiating from my own understanding, initiating has to do with the time we have to come with the idea and discuss the project, and then we start to say, okay, this project is going to, we define the objective of the project, then we can also determine the lifespan, and then probably maybe discuss a little bit on what the cost of the project might possibly be. Then now have, okay, fine, what is the method statement? You develop a method statement and all. No, sorry. I'm very good. Please, initiating, that is when you come together at first, you start to gather every asset that you need. At that point, you determine the objective of the project, and then you set up a team for the project. You have to determine the stakeholders, those that will participate, and those that are absolutely necessary for us to be able to execute the project. Then at the planning stage, you start to talk of what do you actually need, your material requirement, manpower requirement, what is the method of execution, the method statement, then quality, what is the quality that you intend to achieve from the project, and what do you want the project lifespan to be. Then from there, you proceed to execution. At this point in time, it is understood that you already have your manpower requirement already in place, the the skilled and unskilled labor, every other professional acquire. And at this point in time, this is when your project management work actually come into active participation, because as a project manager, then you now need to know how do you now bring everybody together to be able to achieve the purpose of the project, which was initially discussed or stated in the initiating process. So at this point, you start to, at these levels of execution, you start to bring everybody into play and defining roles for everybody and ensuring that everybody's following their defined role. Then controlling is still in the project. You have to put some measures in place to ensure that standard is not compromised at every point in the project. To also ensure that the time for the project is on track. Probably we might plan a project and say, okay, we need like 20 hands to execute the project. Probably there may be some unforeseen circumstances that we may not have foreseen before the project, and then becomes realistic now during the project, meaning 20 people cannot do it. Then there must be a need for us to increase by 2, by 3, or by 4. And so at that process of controlling, you have to bring it up so that we can still meet the time frame. And also quality assurance. What was the process put in place before to assure that there was quality? Is the process still effective? At control stage, you need to check if it is effective. And then at that process too, there must be communication with the stakeholders to know if because they have to be on the same page. And also at this control stage also, sometimes the stakeholders' objective, sometimes though you try then not to change, but also remember they might be the major sponsors. And so inevitably sometimes their requirement might change. So at this control stage, you also need to know how you are going to impute those little changes into the entire program. And then the closing has to do with your test run and check and test run, and then handover of the project.
Thank you so very much. You are absolutely correct. I'm glad to have you in my class. I'm sure by virtue of my position as the chief facilitator, I make you my class monitor. You are now an honorable member of the house. Thank you very much, sir. All right, thank you very much. Now, let me ask a very simple question. In all that is explained so far, can we be right to say that all of this explanation is not only peculiar to the construction industry? Will we be right to say that?
Yes, it's not peculiar. It's not peculiar.
Okay, let me have people on the comment section. It's not peculiar. All right, thank you. 2 persons now. The last person to tell us, is it only peculiar to the construction, the building, or any industry?
No, sir.
Can it be applicable? Sorry?
Yes, sir. It's not peculiar. It can be applicable to other areas too.
Thank you so very much. I wanted us to have that strong conviction to understanding that this 5 process group as we have in project management knowledge, is not only applicable. Don't forget, I said project management is not only when you find yourself on the site. It's not only when you start mixing blocks, cement, carrying blocks, beginning to measure, having your inches, your parameters, and what have you. It is more than that. You talk about initiating. Initiating is conceptualization of idea. Initiating is regarded as conceptualization. This is a state where idea is being conceived pertaining to a particular project that you want to embark on. What am I going to do? What is the primary purpose? What is the primary aim? What is the primary objective of this project? In other words, there is no one project that stands today without a definite purpose or objective. None. There is nobody that wakes up and begin to embark on a project without having a focus, without first and foremost saying, okay, this is exactly what the project is going to achieve. It's not a function of having money. It's not a function of having the manpower. It's a function of outlining the objectives, the goals of this project. That is where conceptualization of idea comes in. Without knowing the objectives of this project, you may not be able to have the correct idea that goes in line with that project. You will falter along the road. But when you know exactly, okay, it's just like, I want to embark on a project, and the project is moving myself from Lagos to Abuja. It is a project in transportation. Now, the idea is, I am coming to Abuja for a meeting. How do I get there? Will road transport be okay for me? Will the rail transport system be okay? Will the air transport be okay for me? The objective of me going to Abuja is to ensure that I go there for what? To learn, to upgrade myself. Now the initiation is coming in. I have defined the purpose. If I follow the road, I might get there so weak and tired. But it is cheap. It will ensure that, or it entails, I spend up to 14 hours in the bus. But if I decide to go by air, fine. It's a little bit expensive, but time is of essence. It takes me approximately 1 hour and I get myself into Abuja refreshed. Which will I take? I'm beginning to come out with different ideas that will enable me to get into Abuja for the program that I'm going for. The same thing to every project manager. Once you are focused and you know what you want, the initiation process begins to come in. How do I get this project executed? What is the purpose of this project? To whom will this project be suitable for? How will it help humanity? Am I bringing this project to provide solution to a problem? Is this project being executed in order to answer questions that have been asked in the past years? What exactly am I doing? What should I do to be different from other project managers, from other project executors, from other business, executors, also to say, what can I do? This is where initiation comes in. Initiation talks about creativity. Initiation talks about creativity. It talks about creativity. It cannot be overemphasized. You want to be creative so that you can stand out in the market. You want to be creative so that you can gain competitive advantage. You want to be creative so that every person that sees your product or goods, your goods will have after sales value because of the level of your creativity. It talks about innovation. It talks about improvement. That is what initiation is. Like the engineer mentioned, you want to know what thing that is put into this will be actualized. Then you talk about planning. It is one thing for you to conceive an idea. It is another thing altogether for you to have a constructive, effective planning process on ground. I have all the prototype. I have everything in my head. But if you do not transcribe those ideas to something that can be run with by every member of staff within that organization, the idea becomes, null and void. It remains in the brain. How is it possible that I have an idea to do a particular thing and I refuse to disclose it to the member of the organization? How are they going to run with the idea? The idea is like a vision. If you do not transcribe your vision, there is nobody that can read your mind. I'm not in your heart to know exactly what you want to do. It is when you put it into black and white. It is well explained. This is what I want to achieve. This is what the project is all about. This is our targeted audience. This is our targeted market. Oh, well explained, sir. This is what we can do in order to achieve what has been penned down. That is where the planning comes in. Various departments is being created. The procurement departments are there. What is their function? To ensure that for the interest of the organization, we have the best product, the best quality with the best price ever. That is their function. Why? Organizational goals and objectives is what we are facing. We want to achieve it. We begin to have a department like the human resources management. What is their responsibility? Oh, we do not want to throw caution to the wind. We want the best hands on the job, no sentiment. It is not a function of the construction or the project manager is my uncle. It does not work. The question is, are you qualified for the job? It is not a function of we are in the same church. We are worshiping in the same mosque. We graduated from the same university. He used to be a very good guy. Back then, he used to buy me lollipop. We work together. We play football together. It is inconsequential as far as business or project is concerned. The question is he qualified for the job? We talk about the risk management system. People that are, there to ensure that they analyze the level of risk that the organization will go into peradventure. If we go into risk, how are we going to mitigate it? What is our financial background to be able to ensure that we overcome any form of risk that we might be prone to? These are what the planning stage. How can we achieve this? What resources are we going to use? What are the manpower that we are going to use? What are the technology that we are going to use? What is just mention it. It's all toward the planning stage. How can you plan without execution. You don't sit down one place. I want to have a master's degree in the next 1 year. I want to have a master's degree. January, I want to have it. By the grace of God, I will have it. February, I want to have it. March, April, May, June, you are still, I want to. July, August, September, October, November, I want to have master's degree. December, you are still wanting to, without taking a bold step. That bold step you are taking is called execution stage. You want to have it. It is initiation. You have planned it. How many weeks? How many years? How many months is it going to take? How much is it going to cost me? For me to be able to attend classes every Saturday, it means that I will not be going for parties anymore. I have to forgo certain things because of this purpose. You have all of that in your mind, and then you are wishing, month in, month out, without execution. It cannot see the light of day. It cannot see the light of day. I am pregnant, yet my tummy is not coming out. Somebody asked me, Mr. Gabriel, I cannot walk because I'm pregnant. How old? How many months? I'm 6 months gone. Yet my tummy is as flat as anything. No evidence. They are counting months for me. At the end of the day, 2 years, I am still pregnant. There is no evidence, no execution. In every project management, you must ensure that the execution process, after your planning, after your initiation, is put to practice. Having planned, let us begin to execute. The controlling aspect is ensuring that everyone assigned with the responsibility of handling anything is given maximum checks and balances. Control. We want to use XYZ amount of resources. What did you do with it? We want to ensure that we are a company with quality. Was there any point in time where quality was compromised? What did we do afterwards? You said you wanted to use 5 bags of cement to achieve this. You ended up using 3. Why? Or at the end of the day, the material that you signed up for was unused or was not used effectively. Why? There must be a total control so that we know that whatever we are doing is in line with the prototype. We want it 1 inch or 1.5 inch or 2 inches. It must be measured in that line. That is control. You don't give people the room to do whatever they feel like doing. You know, I hear people say, you cannot tell me what to do. I have been on this job for the past 30 years. Even when I started, you were not even born. Yes, I can agree with you that I was not born when you started. But can I tell you the truth? What was used in over 30 years ago is no longer useful. Things has changed. Technology has taken the order of day. There are certain things you do, you feel this is how we used to do it. No, it cannot be as usual, business as usual. There is room for what? For effective control. Why? It is about the objectives of the organization and not personal interest or personal objective. And then we talk about the closing. Before the closing, the control ensures that everything as it was, put down, the prototype is followed in and out. That all the T's are crossed and all the I's are dotted. Does it correspond with the expectation of the client? Does it correspond with what the client actually wanted? Does it correspond with what we had as our prototype? The closing state is a state where everything is completed. You bring about what we call expert judgment in the project. The importance of expert judgment is to give you first-hand criticism from the expert in the field. Reason being that what you see or what you do not see, the expert in that same field will come and raising his head or head up will just pick up one mistake. And before this is delivered, such a mistake must have been corrected before delivery. This is what is applicable in every business or every project. So it is not a function of we are just going to do it because I have this. No, it is even applicable at home and what have you. So let's move. So we are looking at the arrows as it presents itself. We talk about the initiating processes that gives birth to the planning, right? It gives birth to the planning. You can see that the controlling processes conjoins with the planning, the executing, and then the closing. Now, let me ask, what is the relationship between the controlling, the planning, the executing, and the closing? Anybody, please? What is the relationship as you have it here with, with the arrows? What is the relationship? Anybody, briefly?
Hello?
Hello, go ahead, please.
Okay, good morning. All right, the three arrows there linking the controlling process to
Please,
the
can you be a
planning.
little bit audible so we can hear you? Thank you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
So the linking arrows with the controlling process to the planning, execution, and closing processes, just like you explained earlier, that you are to ensure the quality and then ensure that the prototype is being followed. So these stages are the critical stages because you're not comparing the work being executed with the objective or the prototype. From the planning process, there is a planning stage where the work, how it is carried out, was scheduled. And then before you close the process, then is where you talked about an expert criticism.
Judgment.
So if there is judgment, if there is any issues or mistakes, this can now be referred back to the prototype in the planning stage and then executed.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much for that. Awesome. That's just, the significance of the arrows. Apart from the initiating, one of the most important aspects of is controlling. For those of us that are in that field, even in business, we understand the importance of control within the business sector. All right? So, this is how it functions. Before the closing, we go back to the drawing board, which is what the controlling process. Based on the plans on ground, based on the release of all the materials that was planned for, the controlling process must ensure that everything we planned for has been executed. Having executed, we come back to the controlling stage. We want to ensure that what we executed is well controlled using the planning process formula before we can now come down to, okay, look at, why didn't we say, according to the arrow, that after executing process, we now close it? Why is it controlling process before closing? Like the last speaker said, is just for us to ensure that everything that we have done before we call it a day, we want to ensure that we get all the necessary information as regards the project, ensuring that we have met all the requirements. Nothing is lacking. Nothing is left behind. No part of the project is being undermined. The quality is intact. We've done all our risk assessment. The human factor, is giving us the best. The technology is there. Getting, advice from experts, and we go back, rectify what needs to be rectified, and then before we deliver. That is what controlling process is. Thank you very much. Let's move on. What do we understand by project? Don't forget, we are talking about project management. These are two big words with two big meanings. We want to dissect them. What is project and what is management? Then what is project management? For some of us that are management oriented, we understand what management is all about. What then is project? Just project. What is project? Anybody can go, please. What is project? Ruth, are you there? Tom, are you there? Anybody can speak. Just tell us what you understand. Ambrose. Adesinola, are you there?
Okay, sir. Hello?
Yes, go ahead, Ruth. I can hear you.
Okay, what I understand by project is a planned endeavor with a specific goal to accomplish several steps or stages.
Okay, a planned endeavor with a specific goal to, all right. Any other person? Any other person? Thank you very much for that, Ruth. Any other person? Ambrose. I hope at this point in time, people are not keeping their phones and be recording it and attending to some other thing. Okay, I'll just remove them one after another. Yes, any other person? What do you understand by projects? Mr. Andrew, are you there? Project. Mr. Ojo, are you there? Project. Yeah. Alex.
I'm here. I'm here.
All right, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. Projects for me, I'll define project as an undertaking which is embarked upon within a time frame.
Okay.
So to me, I can define project as an undertaking carried out in order to achieve a particular goal.
Hello, I can define project as the act of carrying a specific activity within a defined or specific period of time.
Hello. I'm going to define project as a sequence of tasks that must be completed to attain a certain outcome within a period of time.
I would add is within a period of time and with the stipulated budget.
All right. Okay. I'm asking, we are all making reference to within a time frame, within a time frame. Why that? Why are we talking about time frame? Does it mean that if a project must have a time? Why are we all making reference to that sentence within a stipulated time or within a time frame? Why?
It is time bound. A project should be time bound because there are resources accrued attached to it, both budgeting and all the rest. It will be within a time frame. If it's not in a time frame, within a time frame, then it's not project.
Okay. So if I can deduce from what you are saying that a project is a temporary endeavor embarked by an individual or a group of persons which has a starting date and a closing date in order to give the needed results as it is spelled out in the project. That's exactly what we have all mentioned. That's exactly what we have all said. Thank you very much, sir. Yes, I agree with you completely. A project cannot be done or undertaken in perpetuity. There is no project on the surface of the earth that is done in perpetuity, no matter how laudable such a project is. It must have a starting date and it must have what? The completion date. Why? Just like what the last speaker said, because the resources involved is also taken into consideration. Everything has to do with time. Time management is the most important thing. How will it sound? I'm giving Mr. Ojo a project and he tells me, sir, see this project, sir, it cannot be complete, but we will keep doing it. We will keep working on the project. 20 years after, he's still working on the project. Hello, that is no longer a project. That is no longer a project. The project ensures that it has a starting date and makes it a. It is not a permanent endeavor. It is not a permanent endeavor, but what? A temporary, which has what? Start and stop point to create a unique product or service, an outstanding product or service. Right? So, what is management? Mr. Ojo, what is management? We have been able to define projects. Let us try to define management or explain what management is.
For me, I think management is how we bring sources together and also work in how you bring resources together to be able to work within a given time and achieve results.
Your line is breaking. We can hardly hear you clearly.
All right, sorry, can you hear me now?
Yes, please. It's fine.
All right. For me, management is how we bring resources together in order to be able to achieve particular project.
Okay,
I would say
together. All right, thank you.
I would say it's how to assign the scarce or lean resources into the project itself based on the time frame.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Allocating
Hello.
resources.
Hello,
Okay. Thank you. Yes, please. Go ahead, sir.
I can define management as the act of using available resources in order to achieve a specific set of goals or to provide a specific service.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Talking about scarce resources to actualize organizational objectives and goals. Okay. Thank you. Any other person? Management. Okay, so when we talk about management, we have all said wonderfully well. There is no one person that has all the needed resources at his disposal. Even the richest people, businesses on earth will still tell you that they do not have all the resources at their disposal, meaning that resources are what are scarce. They are scarce. They are scarce. So the application of management is talking about the control, the supervision, the coordinating, the planning, the motivation, the proper usage, effective and efficient uses of materials within an organization to achieve organizational goals and objectives. Now, we have talked about allocation of raw materials or materials for usage and all that. What if the materials are being allocated, but there is no effective or efficient usage of that materials? What happens? What if there's no control? What if there's no supervision? What if there's no motivation? What if there's no planning? Therefore, in management, these are the components, the items, the characteristics that sums up what the management of a business. Now, we want to now put it project management. Project management. We are now making reference to the effective utilization of materials using all the techniques, the tools, the technical know-how, the knowledge in executing a project. There's a project on ground. Let me explain. There's a project on ground. On the part of the management, do we have the much needed materials to execute the project? The answer is yes. We have the materials. Can the materials turn itself into actualizing the project? The answer is no. So do we have people that are qualified? Talking about the manpower, resources. Do we have them? The answer is yes. Now, do we have the machines that will enable us to bring this project to limelight? The answer is yes. We have the machines. We have the technology. But do we have people that are inclined, people that are knowledgeable, that can effectively make use of these tools, this technology? The answer is yes. Now, what have we done? We have been able to make use of what we have in order to execute the project by way of coordinating the whole process, by way of planning effectively, by way of controlling, by way of supervision, by way of motivating. When all these aspects is brought into projects, there is no project that cannot see the light of day. It will surely progress. It will surely succeed. Why? Because you've been able to bring all of these elements into effective use. So we say that a product or service resulting from a project may be unique, even if the category to which it belongs is large. Every product, every service gets the attention of the end users as a result of its uniqueness, no matter how large it is. Sometimes, no matter how expensive it is, because of the uniqueness of the product, you can pay just anything to get that uniqueness. Quality is what drives people to patronizing businesses. Quality, because the quality that you give out speaks about your integrity, speaks about what you stand for. So a project outcome, that's the deliverables, product or service, typically continue even though the project ends. Even though the project ends, the product or services will continue. That's why sometimes there is what we call resale value. The project has been concluded. It stands after 5-10 years. But because of the uniqueness of that product, it can still go for a higher value because there's something about that product. Now, okay, the presence of repetitive elements within project completion does not change the fundamental uniqueness of the project work. Okay? It does not change. It does not change. We are talking about progressive elaboration. What does progressively mean? What does elaborated mean? To elaborate, to work out with care and details. Like we said when we started talking about the initiation process, the planning, detailed work. You are thorough. You don't want to take anything for granted. Progressively, proceeding in steps, one step at a time. One step at a time. You are being progressive. You move from kindergarten to nursery to reception to primary 1, 2, secondary, university, your master's, your PhD. You are now Professor Emeritus. That is progression. That is progression. That's how a project starts, and that's how a project ends. Project management is human beings. You in person, you are a project on the go. You are a project. You were conceived. That is initiation. 6 months, the plan started. Is a boy. Mama is a girl. Female clothing. You were given birth to. You started your life. Secondary, university. You've now grown. From that point, you are married. You live in a house, or you built your own house. You have children. You are 70, 90, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, 100, 120. He shouldn't have gone. Hey, gone too soon. Hey, this. It tells you that project started and project also ended. So we are what? We are projects on the move. We cannot live in this world forever. The same thing happens to projects. All right. So project management, the application of knowledge, we've said this before, skills, tools and techniques to project activities to meet project requirements. That is what project management is all about. The application of the knowledge we have. We can operate these tools, we can operate this machine. That is knowledge, right? We have the skill. We have the tools on ground. We have the techniques to project activities to meet the what? The requirements. So project management is accomplished through the use of the 5 processes that we have mentioned. The initiation, the planning, execution, controlling, and then the closing. All right? So the project team manages the work of the project. The project team manages what? The work of the project. In an organization, you can be given a project. Let's assume you are the IT, the IT personnel or IT manager in an organization, and there's this big project that is coming up. We are setting up another branch, and you are given the project of acquiring about 1,500 laptops for the organization. You cannot do that what alone. What do? You set up project team. The project team will be briefed on the expectation of the managers, the management of that organization. What kind of laptops are they looking for? What is the price range? What is the mode of the laptops? The ones that we are going for, is it human friendly? Will it stand the test of time? The people that you are conscripting, integrating into that team are what? Are the project management team members. Now, the work of the project, competing demand for scope, for time, cost, risk, and quality. Competing demands for scope. When we talk about scope within a project, what are we referring to? Anybody, please? What are we referring to, scope, within a project?
Okay, let me try. The scope of a for me, good afternoon, everybody. Or morning,
Afternoon,
sorry.
Okay.
The scope of the project refer to what the project cover in terms of the deliverables of the project. What are the deliverables, the various deliverables of the project? Generally refers to the scope of the project.
Thank you very much. Any other person? The scope.
Scope simply means just like the first person said, deliverables, talking about the what are involved in carrying out the project, the starting point, the finish point, what are the things that are the components that makes up the project.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Sunday. Yes, we are correct. Scope is just, like we rightly said, the deliverables within the sphere of the project. It's not about oversabi, ITK, I too know. They ask you to do XYZ because you are over ambitious, over zealous. You now do KLMN. You have derailed out of the scope. So that is the competing demand. We want to ensure that we are within the scope. We are within We are within the parameters. We are within the confine of what is expected from us. And then we talk about the time. Like we mentioned before, that every project has a stipulated time. And as a matter of fact, this time should be kept no matter what it will cost. Time, they say, is money. Project is money. You tie down my project, you are tying down my money. All right. So we need to ensure that the time allocated for each project is taken into consideration. You know, it baffles me when some project managers, out of maybe selfishness or whatever, will jump at any given time for a particular project, thinking they'll be able to complete it, and thereby shooting themselves on the foot. A project manager is supposed to be as honest as possible, using your professional advice, using your professional acumen. If I'm embarking on a project from Mr. Sunday, and this project is going to take me 6 weeks, it's going to take me 6 weeks. Mr. Sunday is telling me as a project manager, hey, I want this project completed in the next 4 weeks. I am going to, dialogue with him, give him reasons why this project should be completed within 6 weeks. But meanwhile, within the confine of our organization, we are working assiduously to ensure that we deliver within 4 weeks. The 2 extra weeks is to ensure that if there's anything that needs to be adjusted, we can quickly do that and we still fall in within the time stipulated. Not saying, hey, Mr. Sunday, don't worry, I have been doing this for the past 50 years. You are saying 4 weeks. Don't worry, I'll deliver it in 2 weeks. That is where you have shabby, unprofessional deliverables that do not stand the test of time. These are things that we compete for. We talk about the cost. What will it cost to have a very a suitable project on ground? What will it cost? Am I going to compromise on cost simply because I want the contract to be awarded to me? It is highly competitive. What if he's not even willing to pay? What should I do? And I do not have the financial muscles to, bear the cost. He's telling me that he's only going to pay for this project 200 million, but the cost of this project is about 300 million. Who bears the 100 million? And I'll tell him, Mr. Sunday, don't worry. 200 is okay. We will manage. Managing means you are definitely going to compromise on materials. You are definitely going to compromise on quality. You are definitely going to compromise on the human resources. Why? Because the competitiveness in costs was not well addressed. We talk about risks. What is the risk involved in this project? What if? In project management, we always make mention of the what if scenario. It is always on the lips of every project manager, every business person. The what if scenario gives you an insight to what risk management is all about. How can I control risks? How can I prevent risks? How can I manage risks? The what if scenario. I have gone this far. What if this happens? What will I do? What other options do I have? Then we talk about the quality. The quality definition is simply saying, according to the Julian's trilogy, talking about quality, that quality is simply the fit for use. Anything that is fit for use is defined as quality. The products, the deliverables, would they be fit for use? Then we talk about stakeholders with differing needs and expectations. Who are the stakeholders in a project? Anybody? Who is a stakeholder in a project? Anybody, please?
Stakeholders,
Who is
they
a
are
stakeholder?
stakeholders, they are clients and contractors. Everybody is a stakeholder in the job.
Sorry, everybody is a stakeholder.
Yes, both the clients, the subcontractors, the contractors, all of them, they are stakeholders in the job.
Okay. Okay.
Government regulators are also stakeholders.
Yeah,
Thank
correct.
you. Thank you
Correct.
very much. Any other person?
The
Stakeholders.
sponsors of the project. Sponsors of the project are stakeholders themselves.
The sponsors of the project are stakeholders. Not really. Not really, but they are part of the stakeholders, but not really the stakeholders. When we talk about stakeholders in projects, any given project, we say that a stakeholder is an individual or a group of persons whose interests on the execution of that product or project is affected negatively or positively. That is who a stakeholder is. For instance, Mr. Sunday is a business person. He has a project to execute. The project is worth millions of naira. The workers are there. The community people are there. They are also stakeholders. Because the execution of that project in a way will affect them positively or negatively. You are to construct a police station close to an area that is usually terrorized by miscreants, area boys, as they'll call it. Now, once that project is completed, the area boys will never be happy. It means the project is affecting them negatively. But for the people, the residents of that area, there will be what? Jubilation. The project is affecting them positively. Now, coming down to your organization, you have done a project and then the money is not forthcoming. You are not being paid. Will your staff be affected negatively or positively? Mr. Sunday, will your staff be affected negatively or positively?
Negatively, sir.
Why?
Because from the payment of the project is what the staff should be paid their wages and salary with.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So the sponsor of a project is not necessarily the only stakeholder within a project. No. Every other person whose interest is tied to that project is known as what? A stakeholder. I may not necessarily come to sponsor the project with money, but hello, I am sponsoring that project with my time in the organization, with my skills, with my technical know-how within an organization. So we have completed the project, we have delivered the project, but the money is not coming. We are not being paid. Then you begin to see people carrying their faces like one he-goat that they want to go and sell in the market square. Why? Because the money is not there. So a project stakeholder is one whose interest is tied to the completion of a project, either negatively or positively. The area boys on the streets are regarded as stakeholders because these are people that can mar or make your project to see the light of day depending on how you are able to manage them effectively. For some of us that are living in the southwest, we understand the importance of the area boys. We call them Omonile, the owners of land. I don't know if it is applicable in other states, but hello, every truck that comes in with sand, they are collecting their money. Every iron rod that passes, every cement, they are collecting their money. God helps you that you are not complying, then you will know that they are actually important. About 3 years ago, I had a kind of meeting with these people, talking about the area guys. Had a building project to execute for someone, and the person is based in US. The guys came. Sometimes they will seize the tools, they will seize wheelbarrow, cutting machine, they will carry cement, this and what have you to their office. The next thing, you have to pay 50,000. I will report to the client. He said, don't worry, I am going to, do they know who I am? I am going to, my brother is in the army. I am going to send army to you people. They work with you from 6 a.m. To maybe 6 p.m. And let's see, they will beat them. I say, guy, abroad, it's not like Nigeria and Lagos. Calm down. We are at the battlefront, not you. We are going to deal with these people the best way that we can. How was I able to overcome? When they come, I would have bought drinks down. Once they just come, knock at the gate, I'll just open. Hey, my guys, what's up now? We are out again. What's going on? Hey, nice to see you. Hey, chop cool. What was I doing? Trying to create an atmosphere for friendliness, to build relationship. They will just come at the end of the day. Anything for the boys. Guy, there's nothing to do. Just collect this 5K. Just hold it. We will see now. We are still together on this. They will go. These were the same set of people that if other sets are coming, they will call me to say, hey, Oga, some people are coming. Don't answer them. They are not from us. These are the same people that will be sending their men to parade the environment so that there's no intruders. This is what stakeholders management. No matter how we look at them, that they are constituting nuisance on the road, they are not good for anything. Hello, they are significant in any project execution. The same thing within an organization, no matter how you see the security, no matter how you see the mega, no matter how you see the person working within that community, they are very useful to you. These are people that they are custodians of information. How you manage them is very, very important. The question is, how do we identify stakeholders? How do we identify stakeholders? Like we said, all of these people are stakeholders, but they are what? Categories of stakeholders. Who can mention some of the categories of stakeholders? Who can mention some of the categories of stakeholders? Anybody? Anyone? Hello?
Will I say the government regulators are also a category of stakeholders? Like for a building construction, you need the approval of the town planners and what have you to carry out your building construction.
You are right. They are major stakeholders. What if you have your money? You have your technical know-how. You have all the mercenaries, you have all the workforce, but you do not have approval from the government. What are you going to do? You can't do nothing. The first thing is meeting with the requirements of the government. That is the fourth thing. You can't start any project, be it business, without first and foremost getting approvals from the government. These are major stakeholders. They are on. Just pay them what you are supposed to pay. Get all the necessary documents, and you are good to go. We talk about salient stakeholders. We talk about active stakeholders, and much more. What we are talking about is, how do I identify my stakeholders? When we get to where we have the stakeholders management as a topic, we will deal decisively with it. So, the project management knowledge areas talks about the project integration management, the project scope management, the project time management, project cost management, quality management, human resources management, communication management, risk management, procurement management, project life cycle management. These are all the topics that we will be dealing with within these 8 weeks that we have, so that at the end of the day, we'll be able to beat, our chest to say, yes, I have actually undergone this process, and I know how to effectively handle the project. All right, so we talk about the project management context, the project management context, the project life cycle. What is a life cycle? We're talking about from the beginning, from the initiation process to the planning process, to the executing process, to the controlling process, and then the delivery process, the closing. The totality of all those elements is what sums up to be what? The completion of a life cycle. If one is missing, the cycle is not complete. So, the collection of phases that are performed in completing a project is regarded as what? The life cycle. Who can give me a typical case study of a life cycle as far as project is concerned? Make it typical. Anybody? Mr. Sunday, Mr. Ojo, Ruth, are you still with me? Just give me a typical example. Just give me a typical example of the life cycle of project completion. That's very simple. Anybody?
The Dangote refinery, Dangote fertilizer.
Okay. How does it work? What is the life cycle of it?
The life cycle started from where Dangote himself contacted an Indian-based company to come up with a design on how the refinery will look like, and at the point of implementation, where he began to involve the government regulatory bodies, the NNPC, the DPRs, and what have you, and the execution process, where he started importing these items, this equipment, the cooling systems, the what have you, into the country, and the construction process, where he got the manpowers. He was bringing in expatriate from Indians, Chinas, and what have you, involving a third-party contracting companies to execute the project. And at the point of test running, and finally at the point of execution, where he started refining its product and putting the product into the market.
Okay. Okay, so in other words, that project has a life cycle, right?
Yes,
It
sir.
has a life cycle. All right, thank
Yes,
you
sir.
very much. Any other person?
I have one. Mine is in the health sector. Currently, we have a project where we are to get the factory ready to start production in 2 months. And within these 2 months, the plan is to get staff, about 150 staff, machine operators, administrative staff, get the factory ready, machines calibration, machines installation, operators on ground, setting up the offices, and then getting uh, approval to start production, like the CCN and then the NAFTA. And to get those licenses, we are to ensure the HVAC is working. For example, our ETP system, that is effluent treatment plant, is in place. The water treatment plant is functioning. So for all this to the project lifespan that we are aiming at is 2 months. I think that is the project life cycle.
Okay, thank you so very much for that. That's well explained. That's well explained. Okay, let me put mine this way. You know, I like food. The project life cycle of cooking rice. I go to the market, buy my rice, buy my ingredients, come back, ensure that there's gas, or I'm using stove or what have you, put the rice on the fire, parboil it, do all those mede and all of that, put it on the gas, and it starts, boiling. I put everything that I need to put. The rice is soft. I put it down, dish it, and I start eating my rice. The life cycle of cooking that rice is complete. Why? The completion of that rice cooking process means that I have integrated into that rice cooking everything that will make that rice what it should be. That's exactly what Mr. Sunday was trying to point out using Dangote as an example. He did not just involve the Japanese or the Chinese people and ended the process there. Every other processes, every other persons that will ensure that the refinery is actually working were well contacted. The absence of one unit can forestall the operations of that refinery. Imagine you are cooking and there's no rice. I mean, there's no salt. And somebody that eats it like, it is not complete. Something is missing, right? So the deliverables must be accompanied with all the phases, as far as the project is concerned. So each project phase is marked by completion of one or more deliverables. Each project phase is marked. I have boiled the rice to a level that is not too soft because it's parboiled. That phase is complete. I have fried my onions and every other thing, tomatoes and all of that. That phase is complete. So I have now to do what? Complete another phase by integrating the other phase into it. In so many projects, the completion of phase A must be, must be on ground before phase B will start. Sometimes phase B will start before phase A commences, depending on what the deliverables. So each project phase is marked by the completion of one or more deliverables. So the conclusion of a project phase is generally marked by a review of both key deliverables and project performance to date. Like we talked about the expert judgment, that we talked about cross-checking, that we talked about the controlling and all of that. There must be a review of the key deliverables. Did we get this right? Did we get this measurement accurate? Is it in line with the prototype? Was there any addition or subtraction that could make the project messed up? So it also determines if the project should continue into its next phase or not. Have we been able to complete this phase the way it should be? Do we have the right to move into another phase, or we still hold on because something is not right in this particular phase? Dictate and correct errors. That is what the life cycle of the project is. You are able to do what? You are able to dictate and then correct the errors that might be noticed along the line, right? So we say that the project life cycle defines the beginning and the end of a project. Just what we have all said. What technical work should be done in each of the phase? Who should be involved in each of the phase? Let's assume we are constructing a building, right? The painter has nothing to do within the building at the initial stage. He's enjoying himself somewhere. Why? It is not his time yet. The phase of that project has not gotten to him yet. What do we do? Excavation first, clearing of the place, doing all the map out and all of that. The foundation is laid. At this point in time that the foundation is laid, we are doing it in batches. Once the foundation is laid, we have to wait for like maybe 2 weeks, depending on the geographical area, 2 to 3 weeks for that foundation to be dried properly, and then we start on. At that point, everyone that is assigned to do their work, the technical, the electrical, the carpentry, the plumbing, the painter, the fitting and furniture person, every one of them have their responsibilities, but they must wait for a particular phase of the work to be complete before they can come in. That is what the cycle is. You do not jump guns. It takes process. It is progressive. It is progressive. Who should be involved in each of the phase? That is where we come in. So the typical project life cycle, you talk about the cost and staffing level, the initial phase, that is the start. The immediate phase, that is one or more phases, like we talked about, the electrical, the plumber, name it. And then we talk about the final phase. You cannot start from the final phase to the immediate and then come to the start. That is not progressive, it is retrogressive. But when you start from the start to the final, it becomes what? Progressive. Are we making sense? Are we still together? Are we still together?
Yes, sir.
Yes, we are.
Yes,
All
sir.
right. So say that project-based deliverables is a tangible, verifiable work product, such as feasibility study, a detailed design, or a working prototype. Mr. Sunday or Mr. Ojo or Ruth, can you throw more light to this? That a deliverable is a tangible, verifiable work product, such as feasibility study, a detailed design, or a working prototype. Can any of you throw more light into it?
All right. Deliverables, they must be tangible. Sorry, I hope you can hear me. Hello, can we hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, sir. Go ahead.
All right. Deliverables, when we say tangible, it means that there must be something we can see that we can relate with, and there must be something that can be attested to, at least in terms of quality and in terms of what was delivered. That is verified, and it must be related to the work itself. Examples could vary in every terms. So me, I will use my own area where I know I have knowledge. Like for example, if we were to say, oh, we want to have a foundation, want to have a foundation. Okay, what kind of foundation is it? Okay, we're looking at a foundation of a place where that is a bit loose soil. Okay, fine. Want to first one of the looking for at the foundation stage would be a raft foundation. All right. How deep was the raft? Was it deep enough? Was it thick enough? Was the number of reinforcement used? Was it appropriate? Then we send the concrete result was sent for test. What did the test result brought back? You see, all these are the tangible evidence that we are getting. Yes, we have seen the raft is there, but we're not verifying it, how suitable it is. Okay, we need to send the samples of the product to lab, the iron that we use, the this that we use. So when they come back, the results, oh, we show they are good. They pass the result, that is the requirement. Okay, fine, we have verified. Okay, that work is good. Then one of the work products has been completed, as if where we finish the foundation. Now we can now move to the next stage. Then feasibility study has to do with, okay, now before we enter the area, before we start the job, sometimes feasibility study you can do it during the project or after the project. Okay, like for example, we finished the foundation and we've been able to do application according to what is required according to standard. And so okay, fine. Let us now move to the next stage, which is substructure or the superstructure. Now we have to do a feasibility study. The materials we use, the time we bought cement foundation, is it the same thing that we are having now? Is there a price variation? Is it higher? Is it lower? Do you think the same manpower requirement that we had at the beginning can still give us the same result? Oh, do we have a problem with any of our artisans or any of our professionals that we keep foundation? Do you think we should progress into the next stage with this same professional? And okay, fine, if we must progress, why did we have a problem with it in the first place? All these other things. And then also the state design started. And then we carry now we're going to the state. To everybody knows what the design is talking about. So all of us understand this design. Okay, now we have gotten to this place. We are going to the next stage. So following the design to the stage that we are following this design to the next stage is everybody that is object. We understand what the design is requiring of us. And so if we do not, experts comes and they explain all the requirement of the design to us, and then we continue to work and work with prototype as my own side, work with prototype as my drawing, detailed standard specification. So at every point in time, as we work, we need to check the prototype. Are we along? Are we aligning what we are doing? Can I see it coming out as what expected to be according to the prototype? If the prototype says we are supposed to have a length of 300 meters, please, why are we having a formwork of 2 meters? That shows that by the time we finish, we cannot come out with 3 meters. So there's a problem at that point in time. So we also have to work. sure. So at every point in time, while the thing is going on, we are looking at the prototype. We are ensuring that if it's up with the prototype, it's not just about doing the work now, but also ensuring that you deliver according to the prototype, according to what was designed. Although sometimes there are so many varying factors on the field that may hinder or that may not necessarily allow you to achieve that prototype as you may have conceived. At that time again, you go back to your drawing board where everybody that is involved. Now we have now seen a problem that we didn't see before. So how do we overcome it? And at that point in time, I think with meetings and general discussion and every other person looking at the question and come out with very good there will be a good solution round, and then we'll go back into the field and then execute and ensure that we are sticking to the same prototype of work. These are bases of I think for me, these are explained is pertaining to what I know about. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much for that. Thank you so much. That was very insightful and very apt. Thank you. So, any other person want to say something? Does any other person want to say something, or we go with the last speaker and we move on? That was well explained, anyways. Hello.
Right here.
Can we proceed? Does anybody want to say something else?
Well understood from me, sir.
Okay. Go ahead, sir. I can hear you.
No, I said well understood with the last speaker. I understood what the last speaker said.
All right. So we move on from there that deliverables from the preceding phase are usually approved before work starts on the next phase. Just like the last speaker said, we cannot move from this particular phase if we are not sure that it corresponds with the prototype. We cannot move. So there must be an approval to say, okay, fine, phase 1 is okay, let's proceed to phase 2. Okay, so how it works. We are basically just having a rundown on this is just an introductory aspect of project management. So we'll be running down on some of the key topics and all of that. Just give a brief and we continue from there. So we talk about the project stakeholders. We mentioned before that project stakeholders are individuals and organizations that are actively involved in a project or whose interests may be positively or negatively affected as a result of the project execution or project completion. They may also exert influence over the project and its results. Like we said, there are categories of stakeholders and their influences also differs. Okay? I am a stakeholder bringing in maybe my money into it. My interest differs from a staff who is also a stakeholder. The interest of the staff or the influence of the staff differs also from the Omoniles. The influence of the Omoniles differs from the influence of the government. So, as project managers, we must understand whose interests should be given the right premium, the right approach. Okay? For example, what interest does the area boy or the miscreant or whatever need to know the actual amount for that project? Meaning that there are certain information that they cannot and must not, should not be privy to. It's none of their business. But for someone who is a stakeholder that has invested his money and all of that, he needs all of the information to be disclosed, right? So stakeholders, key stakeholders, we talk about the project manager, the responsible individual is, in there to managing the project. His responsibility is to manage what? The project. What is the difference between a project manager and a project supervisor? A project manager and a project supervisor. Mr. Sunday, Adesinola, Alex, anybody, Ruth, Tom, Anaka, or Rivo?
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. When you talk about a project manager, that is the person that is in charge of the project, while project supervisor is the person that will make sure that all the phase of the project and ensure the following of the prototype of the project, while the project manager is the one that is managing or overseeing the way the project is being carried out. But the project supervisor, he is the one in charge. He is the one that will make sure that all the project phase, all the project prototype is followed. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you very much. Any other person? A project supervisor and a project manager.
To me, I would say a project supervisor basically will be the owner of the project, while the project manager happens to be maybe the head of a team. They are all into the same, achieving the same goal and task, which is the accomplishment of the project. So they are all team, while the supervisor should be the owner of the project to see to day-to-day activities and the progress in terms of planning and the execution of the project, while the manager is basically the manager of the project who the supervisor reports to, but they are all a team, only that one happens to be the head of the team, to my own understanding, sir.
Okay, we'll see to that. Okay, two differing opinions. All right, Alex, you want to say something?
No, I'm the first speaker, sir.
Okay. Any other person, Mr. Okay, Adesinola, are you there? Ruth, Ojo, are you there? Mr.
Yes,
Ojo?
yes, I am here.
Yes.
Yes, I'm
Okay.
here.
Let me hear from you. The two of you. Supervisor and a project manager.
All right. The project manager actually is involved in the management of the project as in direct involvement in the management of project, as it were. Then the project supervisor, the project manager actually reports to the project supervisor, and so that the project supervisor and the project manager who is on the field, the objective of the organization on the field, the project manager is to ensure that on the field, the objective of the organization still being achieved, and then the supervisor ensures that the project manager is still in tune and still understand what the organization goal is with respect to the project. Just they are the same thing. It's just as one is above, as Sunday said.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Ruth, you want to say something?
Yes, sir. I just want to give a little point.
To say?
Yes, I just a little addition.
Okay, please go ahead.
A project overseer of the whole project and which the project should follow. while the supervisor execute tasks, the tasks, and then ensure that everything goes in accordance with the prototype of plan.
Okay, thank you very much. You know,
Yeah, so
all of, okay. Someone want to say something?
yeah, I just wanted to add that the manager, the more strategic, the project manager is more involved in decision makings and all of that, while the support in charge of administration and seeing to the smooth running of the projects, that is administering tasks and all of that.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for that. Now, depending on the size of the organization or depending on the size of the project, a project supervisor can also be or function as the project manager and vice versa, depending on the size
I had
of
a
the
program
project.
a few weeks ago. One of those in my bed. In that program, there's this was starting prayers by 8 or 10 to pray till 6 a.m.
Please, can you mute your mic, please? So, like we said before, that sudden interruption, depending on the magnitude of the project, these two people can function seamlessly together or individually. What do I mean? A project manager can function as a supervisor of the project. So if you do not have the capacity to getting a project manager and also getting the services of a project supervisor, you can use one to run the two. Now, the project manager's responsibility is more or less like an operational manager. The totality of the project is to be supervised by you, to be seen by you. Administratively, technically, it is your responsibility because you have the prototype, you have the idea of what the project entails. But the supervisor is to checkmate the project manager to ensure that there is no deviation from the actual the actual plan on ground. So the two of them work together in order to ensure that the execution of the project is seamless. Sometimes it is the project manager that interfaces with the stakeholders, not even the supervisor. Not even the supervisor. And on the other hand, the supervisor can also interface with the project stakeholders, depending on what is obtainable in that organization, depending on the hierarchy within that organization. But the most important thing is the two of them work together to ensure that there is a smooth completion of the project. That is what it's all about. We talk about the customer. They are also what? Stakeholders. You may not sell any product. You may not sell any product. It could be service. Then it could be a product. The completion of that product and my patronage to that product makes me a stakeholder. That if you do not complete it, okay, for example, you are into pharmaceutical, you produce drugs. You produce drugs. The completion of the anti-malaria tablet, don't forget we are waiting for it. What if it takes maybe about 7 months, 1 year to finish producing it? What is going to happen? Meaning that most people will die. But when you produce and you finish, it gives us more confidence. So we are what we are stakeholders with the staff. We talk about the staff. They are also stakeholders, right? They are also stakeholders. The sponsors, they are stakeholders. The performing organization, they are stakeholders. When we talk about performing organization, sometimes I do not have the capacity, I do not have the know-how, I do not have the machineries, the techniques to Are we together?
Yes, sir.
We are together.
All right. Okay. So the performing, the sponsors, these are other word stakeholders. So what is organizational influence to projects? Does anybody have any idea what is organizational influence to projects? What is organizational influence to projects? Yes, you can't see my slide. Yes, it just got disconnected. I'll share it now, but we'll still continue. What are some of the organizational influences to projects? Anybody? Organizational influences to projects. Anyone? Organizational influences to projects.
One. All right. One of the is that they have the organization as a whole has influence because one, they determine the objective of the project. They're also responsible for determining what resources to be deployed, what amount of resources to be put into the project. They also determine the goal of the project, and they also determine the quality and standard of the project, and they also set time frame, and they're also responsible for setting targets for each member of the project team, as it were. That's my
Okay. Okay. Any other person? Organizational influences to projects. Does anybody have any idea? Mr. Ojo, are you there? All right. So when we talk about organizational influences to projects, we are simply talking about, okay, we are simply talking about some of those things within an organization that can influence the project from being executed. And what are some of those things? Organizational structure, organizational systems, organizational culture, organizational styles. Can any of these influence the execution of a project? Can any of this influence the execution of a project?
Yes, it can. In a very serious way.
Hello, together.
Yeah, but
Yes, sir,
together,
we're together, sir.
yeah,
Together, sir.
it can influence the project, can influence the execution of a project.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, we can hear you. We can hear you, sir. Hello, sir. Hello, sir. Sir, we can hear you.
Hello, sir.
Okay. How does it affect the?
Yes, it has great effect on the project. It has various. It has a very high level of influence on the project. Hello, sir. Can you hear us? Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Wow.
I can hear you.
Okay.
Go ahead, I can hear
Yes. All right. This is Ojo. It has a very great influence on the project because
you. Yes.
the organization structure determine how you allocate resources, how you allocate manpower, how you determine quality, and everything. So the organization structure sets the goal. So it has a very great and thank you.
All right, sir. Any other person? Any other person? Okay, just to align with what Engineer Joe has said, that organizational system has a very significant either positive or negative impact on the completion of a project. You know, there are organizations that do not believe in quality. All they want is results. Hey, what break, it can destroy a project. What do you need to do as a project manager? You find yourself in this kind of situation. You find yourself in this kind of situation. What you just do is to ensure that you are carried. You do not assume, that you know it all. You do not bring the mindset of this is how we used to do it in our organization. What you do is to provide professional advice. Let the management, let the sponsor see reasons with you why this project should be done this way and why it cannot be done this way. That's the only thing and the only way. All right. That is the only way you can succeed as a project manager. Now, when you have different interests of projects managers or project sponsors, different interests of project sponsors within an organization, how do you handle the sponsors? Mr. Sunday, how do you handle different project sponsors? Imagine you have a meeting and the three sponsors are there and they are asking you of your opinion. They have made their own opinion and they are asking you to make your own input. How will you handle the three of them?
This is a more technical
Hello?
question. Hello, sir.
Yes, I know. I'm
It's a more
directing it to you. And then
okay,
Mr.
sir.
Ojo,
I will handle them
go
basically
ahead,
on the
please. Go
same.
ahead, Mr.
I will
Sunday.
handle them on the same basis, on the same leverage because they are both sponsors to the project. So they need to be carried along on the progress and the performance and situations of the project, considering the fact that they are both sponsors. So I will give them equal treatment. Make my presentations known to the three of them.
Oh, the network is really cracking. Can barely hear you. We can
Yes,
barely hear
I
you.
said I will treat them.
Mr. Ojo, can you take over while we expect to hear from Mr.
All right. Can you hear me?
Sunday later? Okay.
Can you hear me, sir? Can somebody hear me?
Yeah, Mr. Ojo, I can hear you.
All right. With this, when presented with this kind of thing, three stakeholders with different requirement or different what they have, and they ask me what I want to do, knowing fully well that there are stakeholders with different, I know their opinions will be different. First and foremost is to give them, because I would have done my own in-depth analysis and know what I think it should be professionally, is to give them what is professionally obtainable. And after doing that, I would love to hear from them, the three of them individually, look at what they have proposed and how these three things can actually align. And if where they cannot align, and then that is another level of issue entirely that we have to find a way to see how we can find center position. But most times, the only way you can treat these people is first and foremost, like Mr. Sondo said, is to treat them equally, make them believe that they have equal stake on the project, and regularly have personal and general meetings with interface with them. Regular interface and general meeting with them might be a way to solve this kind of problem, this kind of stakeholders.
Okay, thank you. Though I was out for a few seconds. Madam Ruth, do you have anything to add to that? How do you deal with sponsors with differing interests in a project?
Okay, for me, in my own field, what I've done so far when I encountered an issue like that was to
Hello, Ruth. Okay.
was to
Sorry?
meet them individually and get their own views, then find a center point, a meeting point for it, like an entry center, then get them together in a meeting. Usually I use a Zoom meeting, and then give them my own professional advice on what is sustainable that will be inclusive of all three interests.
Misbehaving. The network's been misbehaving. Now, when you have three or more holders with different interests in a project, as a project manager, what you're expected to do is to try as much as possible to be neutral. Project manager, Mr. Ojo is the sponsor. Mr. Soy is also a sponsor. It makes sense. If I tell Mr. Sunday that what is said makes sense, I am setting myself up with Mr. Ojo. If I support Mr. Ojo, I am setting myself up with Ms. Ruth and Mr. Sunday. So what should I do as a project manager? Like Mr. Sunday said, it is very technical, but you just have to be neutral. Do not show your allegiance to any of the party while they are there. For whatever reasons, don't. Because you may be frustrated out of that position as a project manager, and they will bring in another person. Oh, you are now supporting Mr. Ojo Abi. Okay, let's see how it goes. Okay, you are now following Ms. Ruth. All right. I said it because Ruth is from the same tribe. No wonder. Okay, I'll begin to read meanings into, and then try as much as possible to frustrate your effort in everything that you're doing. So, what am I to do? Be neutral as much as possible. Okay? Do not openly support any of them. And secondly, do not report anybody to anybody. Mr. Ojo will call me, hey, Mr. Gabriel, well, you are doing a good job. I can see what you. So what did Mr. Sunday say as far as this is concerned? He wants to get something from me so that he can challenge Mr. Sunday based on the information that has been disclosed. Do not support anybody openly and do not support anybody closely. What should be in your mind is how the project should be executed given all the necessary support. But if you are asked right there and then, so what do you think? What you should say is, in my own understanding, or I would suggest personally, let your suggestion not be tilted towards what each and every one of them must have said. You can paraphrase it. You are just trying to use wisdom to deal with these people. Don't forget, they are stakeholders and they must be managed differently. They must be managed differently. Understanding different temperaments, understanding different opinion, different mindset on the project will help you as a project manager to survive in that project. What does Mr. Sunday want? He's a kind of person that does not read mails, but he wants detailed analysis of every operation within the project scope. Mr. Sunday is a kind of person that, he does not want detailed analysis. He doesn't want to read, but he can spend 3-4 hours on phone for you to give him details. How are you going to handle him? Ms. Ruth on this other side is a person that does not have, I don't care what you come up, just give me the figures. How do you manage these three kinds of persons? Mr. Sunday has time by 11 p.m. in the night. Mr. Ojo tells you, I am only available for update by 2 a.m. As a project manager, how will you manage these two people? So understanding their various needs exposes you to how you can manage them. And we talk about the organizational styles, culture, structure. Who do I report to? What is your organogram of this organization? There are some organizations that will tell you, well, it doesn't really matter. Don't go straight to the MD. If you have any issue, go to the MD. But there are some that will tell you, hello, you have to go through your team lead. Your team lead reports to the HR. The HR reports to the administrator. The administrator takes it up to the manager. The manager takes it up to the MD. That is how the organizational organogram is structured. You cannot bypass anybody to give this other person any information. Once you do that, you are in trouble already. You are creating enmity for yourself already. It is common sense for project managers to understand all of this. You don't say, I'm the project manager. I don't report to you. I liaise directly with the sponsors, with the managers, with the directors. No. Understand how the organization runs. And then we talk about project office. The project office gives you more confidence. It gives more confidence to your clients. By the time they know this is where you're operating from, you are not operating on the internet. Mr. Sunday, where is your operating office? You see, actually, we are operating in the using the 21st century kind of office. We are online, and we can be reached online. Hello, it doesn't work. I need to know where you are operating from. I need to see your operating office. I need to know the people that are spearheading the project activities. Who is your HR manager? Who is your administrator? Who are the people constituting this and that? Don't tell me that you're operating using the internet. I will not be confident. Okay? So these are, things that can affect the execution of a project either positively or negatively. Right? Okay, so we talk about some key general management skills. As far as the project is concerned, what are the general skills that ordinarily I should be able to have? Even a market woman knows how to calculate money. Without using calculator, they tell pepper, meat, fish, okra, this, sand. Before you know it, they give you the total amount. So some of the key general management skills: finance and accounting, sales and marketing, research and development, manufacturing and distribution, strategic planning, tactical planning, operational planning. These three key elements are very important for any successful project manager. You must be a strategic planner. You must be a tactical planner. You must be an operational planner. Like I always tell my management students, that everybody is a manager, but not everyone is a strategic manager. Is there any difference between a manager and a strategic manager? Ruth, Ojo, Sunday, is there any difference between a manager and a strategic manager? Or they are all the same?
They are not the same. For me, they are not the same, or they are two different things.
But they are still managers now.
Well, a manager is just a manager. Somebody that manages. Doesn't want
so now that I'm a manager, you are talking down on my position as a manager.
No, I'm not talking about my position, but I believe strategic manager is somebody that makes decision based on informed certain informed intelligence, as in you are not just making that decision, but you are making a decision out of your professional depth, having considered various indicating factors, various influences that are professional, that you've considered this, because you're not making an opinion, not just because the client wants it or because the other professional wants it, but you are looking at the end of the day, for the overall good of this project, what does a standard say? What is the demand of a regulatory body? What is the organization looking for? And so as a strategic manager, you are coming together with all these various demands to make a decision that will not compromise any of these interests, and then again, that will not compromise your project. So you have to be strategic in making such decisions. Then for a manager, why do you, the manager shouldn't think of all these things. The manager should only think of one thing, let me please the client. If the client tells you that, Oga, have 1 naira for this thing, no way that 2 naira can do it. Okay, bring the 1 naira, let us help you to manage it and do the work. And then you help him to manage it and do the work, and then the project that is managed would manage to stand the little test of time and then begin to have problems and all that. So I think there's very huge difference between strategic manager and an ordinary manager.
Okay, thank you very much. Anybody, Mr. Okoro, please mute your mic or you want to say something. Mr. Timothy, mute your mic or you contribute. Okay, Mr. Sunday, any input? Mr. Lawrence, are you there? Miss Ruth, you want to say something? I'm a manager. And then I'm a strategic manager. What is the difference? Of course, I'm still a manager within an organization. So what is the difference between a manager and a strategic manager? Miss Ruth?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, just like the first said, for a strategic manager, he's bringing in his expertise and giving in his own professional advice to
Please increase the volume of your voice a bit. Thank you.
Okay. I said just like the first said.
Yeah.
For me, a strategic manager is bringing in his expertise and professional advice to carry out a particular project, while a manager, he's just interested in using maximizing the available resources to meet the objective, and might not be really much concerned into giving out the professional advice.
Okay. Thank you very much. Mr. Sunday, want to say something?
To me, I think a manager uses his or her expertise for a short time, while a strategic manager comes in with his or her expertise for a goal that is a lifetime. From the word strategic simply means it's not a common idea or an initiative that is just like a temporary one. That word strategic means a lively goal that will take up to a couple of years. So that's my own little understanding.
All right, sir. We have all spoken well. Thank you very much for that. Awesome. Excellent.
Can I say something?
Okay, go ahead.
A strategic manager, yes, a strategic manager actually is involved in one. He can involve in implementing, and also developing plans. Why these plans to actually help the organization to achieve the goals and objectives. Strategically, he plans, he leads, he takes charge to make sure that the organization's goal is achieved. That is why.
Hello.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes. Go ahead.
So as I said, he is involved in developing and implementing plans. Why is he developing and implementing these plans? It's not those that are actually cast on stones. He comes into a project, he looks at the project, he looks at a way of how do we achieve this goal in the shortest possible time. He formulates a lot of things that will help the present manager that is not strategic to achieve his goals in controlling processes, resources, and initiative. It didn't change. So a strategic manager is quite different from a total manager that is there. He just come and see where we are not meeting up, and he dives in, makes, okay, let me say, he waves his magic wand, brings out things that will make the team to work. And that is why it is.
Okay, thank you very much, sir, for that. In any business, be it projects or any form of business, you have a manager and you have a strategic manager. These two functions are different from one another. One, strategic, is making reference or focusing on the future. It is futuristic. Let me put it that way. Strategic manager is futuristic, while manager is just for the now. Okay, somebody said a manager may not be trained, may not be professional. No, he can be a professional manager, someone that has certification from Nigeria Institute of Management, but may not be a strategic manager. Your responsibility as a manager is more or less like an operations manager to see that the day-to-day running of that organization, the usefulness of the available resources is put into proper use. You ensure that it is available. Every department is functioning. This person is doing what he's supposed to do. But the strategic manager is thinking about the next 5 years. He's talking about the next 10 years. He's talking about doing things distinctively. What can we bring to the table that will be different from the usuals that we have been doing? He strategizes. He thinks outside the box. And whatever he gets, he brings into the organization. And then the manager helps to ensure that that vision is run. So the two of them are managers of scarce resources, but the other one is more strategic. Like the last speaker said, talking about project management, you also have a project management manager that is strategic in thinking, in planning, learning from the past or the previous projects. What can we do this time around? We are expecting a project in the next 5, 7, 10 years. What should we be putting in place? What are the kind of machines or tools, technology that we want to adopt? What can we do to make us different from other people? That is what the strategic manager thinks about, whereas the manager is just here to ensure every resources that is given is well utilized. In organizations, there are people that we call think tank, THINK, TANK, think tank. Their responsibility is just to think for the organization. There are bigger organizations. These people, you may not see them in a year, but they are the brain behind the sustainability of the project. They are the brains behind the sustainability of the business. Their sole aim, come to the office with your biro, with your newspaper, and maybe A4 paper. Your own is to think, this organization is here now. In the next 5 years, where should they be? How should they be? What should they be? What are the kind of people they should be employing? What kind of this? They are the brain behind the success of all these multinational companies. You think it is because they have products? You think it's because they have clients? No, it is a function of the people that are thinking on their behalf. These people are known as strategic thinkers. They are the movers of the organization. So every manager, every project manager must be a strategic thinker. A strategic thinker. If you must be relevant in the business, you must be tactical in your plan. You must be strategic in your plan. You must also be what? Strategic in what? In your operational planning. The thing is, as this sounds as very simple as it doesn't concern a project manager, this is for business people. they can only, my dear, it involves the project manager as well. You have to think. You talk about structures, organizational behavior, personnel administration, compensation, benefits, and career paths. These are general management skills that you need to have. How do you compensate? What is the compensation plan? What is the benefits plan? What is the career path that has been carved for the members of your team? How do you handle organizational behaviors? What premium do you place on the workforce, your team members? What premium do you place on them? Are you a project manager that you are concerned about the outcome, but you are less concerned about the people that help to achieve the outcome? What benefits? The project has ended. What are you doing to motivate the people that they will give their all in the next coming project? How do you compensate? What is the benefit of working with you? These are some of the things that we take for granted, but these are very important things as far as the project management is concerned. Motivation is very important. I tell people that motivation is a function of the sensitivity of a project manager. What do I mean by that? The sensitivity of a project manager can be seen with the kind of motivation that it gives to the workforce. Just look at Mr. Sunday. Look at Mr. Ojo. They are part of your workforce. Look at Miss Ruth. She's part of your workforce. At the end of the day, you say, hey, Mr. Ojo, you see, you have been a very hardworking person. Without you in this organization, blah, blah, blah. Just take 2,500 recharge card. What an insult. To me, I regard it as an insult. 2,500 recharge card for what? Is that motivation? Now, motivation is not all about monetary. You do not motivate people just because of money. Say, okay, we are awarding with maybe 5,000, 500,000. No. The truth of the matter is, what motivates Mr. Ojo may not motivate me. What motivates Mr. Sunday, Ms. Ruth, may not necessarily motivate me, and vice versa. The sensitivity of the project manager comes in there. Look at Mr. Ojo. What has been his input in the execution of this project? What kind of compensation, what kind of motivation suit his personality, suit his position? Imagine you walk into an organization and there has never been a meeting comprising of the security, the cleaners, the junior staffs, and all of that. And you came up with an initiative. Today, we are having meeting of all the staff in this organization. Whether you are a cleaner, whether you are a driver, whether you are a security personnel, we are having meeting. Do you know what that sense of belonging will do to the security man, to the driver, to the cleaner that you commonize? That sense of belonging gives them the voice of saying that we are recognized. You have not given them any money, but for the fact that you say, okay, Miss Chidima, who is a cleaner, can you say something? While the directors are there, while the senior management staff are there, do you know what it does to her morale? It is not all about money. It is not all about money. They are working, and you just come in as a project manager. Everyone sees you. Or guys around, The next thing, hey, well done, guys. Work is ongoing. Okay, you know what? Launch on me. Do you know what that alone will do to them? That launch on you. They have launch for the whole day on your head. Do you know what it does? This is what we are talking about. These are the people that will help you to ensure that the project sees the light of day. If you mismanage them, they frustrate your project and there's nothing that you do about it. So why don't you imbibe this culture of compensating, imbibe the culture of motivating, speaking well, making them feel belonged, making them feel useful within an organization. That is a general, key management skills that you should have ordinarily as a project manager. We are not saying that being simple means also that you are relinquishing your powers to people or they will not respect you. No. When it is time for jokes, we joke. When it is time for serious business, you cannot see my teeth. I cannot smile. It is business. When we achieve what we set to achieve, we come back and we smile. We play with each other. We laugh and we move on. That is how a project manager be accessible. Be accessible. Managing work relationship through motivation, delegation, supervision, team building, conflict management, and other techniques is what you should have as a skill. How do you manage conflict? Knowing fully well that you are getting people from all walks of life, from all levels of intellectual ability, all skills and all of that. How do you manage them? You have a Muslim, a Christian, somebody that does not believe in God, you have them among your staff. Someone that is an illiterate, you have. Someone that is well-learned, well-read, you have. How do you manage them when there is conflict? As a project manager, you need to have this skill. Team building. How do you bring your team together and bond? What kind of structure are you putting in place? Is it work? No. Once in a while, we can just decide to have fun. No work today. Work off. No work today. We are going for movie thing. We are going to the beach. We are doing this just to have what? Bonding. We are having training. I'm bringing an expert to train us on the effective use of PPEs, on safety, on health-related matters, on how to administer CPR. That is, you are bonding them. This is what you need to have. Your ability to delegate duties. Don't make them feel cognito. The responsibility is assign somebody. Let them have a sense of responsibility. Let them be answerable. Let them be accountable. Hey, you from today, you are in charge of this. You are in charge of this. You are in charge of this. It doesn't mean that some other person is not in charge. You are only making them to sit up. Delegation, building, managing relationship. The truth is, there are people that you use and you think they are not useful to you in the future. I tell you, you will still meet them in the course of your work. Why? The system is a very small system. You will meet them. You left them in Lagos, you are now in Abuja. You meet them in Abuja or anywhere else. Why? Try as much as possible to build a lasting relationship that when work finishes, we part ways amicably. That I can call you, hey, Mr. Sunday, where are you? Okay, I'm in Lagos right now. There's a project that I need you to be part of it. Please, can you, without argument, Mr. Sunday flies into Lagos. Why? We have a working, cordial relationship going on. But if we parted ways with quarrel, he stole my cement, he stole my material, I told you, I don't trust Sunday. Don't you see the way he looks? He's this, he's this. Can I call him for future work? No. So, as a project manager, these are general skills that you need to have. Managing oneself through personal time management, stress management, and other techniques. You are not a rock. Even rock that is a wrestle sport person, as his name is, The Rock, sometimes he rests. Not to talk of you, that you are not rock. Okay? When it rest. I tell people in the office, work, no they finish. If you want to kill yourself on the job, tomorrow we only say, oh yeah, 1 minute silence, and some other person takes over your position. What about your family? What about people that are depending on you? So your ability to manage stress is very important. Your ability to manage your mental health is very important. When the body is telling you that you need to rest, do not force it. Obey, rest. Your time should be well managed. There is time for work. There is time for family. There is time for leisure. Understand how to effectively manage your time. Manage yourself. Any other, techniques, any other skill that you can get into, just as we are doing right now, to improve on yourself, to put yourself on that vantage point, to carve a niche for yourself, do it. It is for your own good. Any question, please? Any question? Any question, any contribution to all that has been said, talking about some of the basic skills that a project manager should have. It is not only someone that is working in the office with air condition that needs this. A project manager is also a human being. Any contribution, Mr. Sunday, Mr. Lawrence, Mr. Ojo, Timothy Ruth, Orivo, Teso, Mr. Tom, any contribution? Any contribution?
Thank you so much, sir. It's not a question, but just like an affirmation and also an appreciation for your quality time you spent with us. I truly appreciate your time as a person, and every detailed during the course of your lectures are well noted, and I truly appreciate your mode of lectures by trying to carry everyone along, and also using coming down to everyone's level, using a common way of explaining driving out your points. Thank you so much, sir. I just want to encourage each and every one of us on this platform that project management is a thing which and every one of us see and do on a daily basis. I'm into procurement and logistics, but I felt there's a need for me to deviate into project management. So I truly appreciate your effort. I just want to encourage and every one of us to put in more effort to this, because no knowledge is waste. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much. I quite appreciate that. Mr. Ojo, wanted to say something. Any other person? Any contribution?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Ojo.
All right. I think your class is quite interactive and exhaustive on the topic. I do hope we'll take good notes of it. Also help ourselves in nature. But the truth is that knowledge is never ending, and as far as project management is concerned, as technology continues to grow, so also the need to keep acquiring knowledge on project management will always become relevant. So I think I'm happy. I hope you will come again to give us more topic project management. Your delivery was
sure.
okay. To say we want to ask question, I don't think there was any area that was not really clear. to ask questions on, except maybe because of our studies, I have questions that we might want to ask.
Thank you very much for that. Thank you. Thank you. Our women leader, Ruth, you are the only one talking as a woman, so I've made you the women leader of this class.
Thank you, sir. Well, I'm so grateful. Your class is quite interesting and interactive. And I am Miss Pharmaceuticals and Industrial Pharmaceuticals. So I have been opportune to handle a project. And, I needed more insight and I wanted to be a professional. So that was why I choose to do this course. And you've made it so easy and interactive and very interesting. In fact, I do not regret being here. So we're so grateful.
Wow. Thank you very much for that. Like I said, this is just the introductory aspects of the project, just to give us heads up on all the topics and all of that. In our subsequent classes, we'll be diving deeply into all of these topics. All right, so the materials will be sent, the videos will be sent. Upon completion of every topic, we will do well to send the materials so that we can have it and read at our leisure. Okay, so we are supposed to end by 2 o'clock today, but can we still move to 2 o'clock? Is that okay, or 1 is fine for today?
I'm okay for today. Even I'm at work, so it's not easy. It's not easy for me.
Yeah, I understand. All right, so we shall be calling it a day today, and by the special grace of God, same time next week, we will also continue. So now that you have tested of it, at least you are happy getting what you paid for. Why don't you go out and preach the good news so that we can have more converts? Do the evangelism and let's have more converts register. Thank you very much. It was a privilege having each and every one of us. Thank you so very much for your time. Thank you very much for your contributions. I also learned a whole lot. Once again, thank you. Over to you, MJD Management.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Friday. As the participants said, you've never disappointed in any way. I heard it, and it's a wonderful feedback from the participants, especially from Mr. Andrew, that always been positive. Mr. Andrew, I want to say thank you. You've always been positive. I've never had any negative comment from you. Thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Good to have you again.
Okay, sir. Thank you, everyone. Mr. Ojo, our class rep for this course. I appreciate you so much. And everybody, our women's leader, everybody that took part, we appreciate you so much. Thank you, because it is because of you that we are able to run this platform. Because without you, there's no how there will be this professional training, because it is from your resources that we put into this and make it a success. Thank you so much. Today was a success. Let's do it again next Saturday. Do have a lovely weekend and a blessed week ahead. Bye for now.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, sir. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you. Paragon.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Sorry. I don't know.
Who is Paragon here?
I am the one, sir.
Okay,
Paragon has been the best thing
He's our facilitator. That is
He's our
Paragon.
facilitator.
I'm using 2 devices.
Okay.
That's why.
Okay, sir.
I'm using 2 devices. Yeah.
Okay, have a blessed day.
Okay, bye, everybody.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye.